Today, in the series of COVID-19, which is specially brought to you by News Karnataka, V4 News, Malnadu TV, Global TV, and Organ Donation India Foundation and GYAN, we are going to discuss today the COVID-19 impact on dental care services. And we have two very eminent doctors. One is a real, I can say, godfather in this industry. And the other one, she is a promising doctor. So I will first introduce our first senior most doctor here. He is none other than Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty. Welcome, doctor, to this show. Dr. Sridhar Shetty is a teacher, philosopher, researcher, administrator, and sportsman visionary. He is the director, Center for Advanced Sciences, Niche University. He is the founder dean of A.B. Shetty Memorial Institute of Dental Sciences, Niche University. He was the president of Dental Council of India from 1995 to 98, having 48 years of teaching experience in the faculty of dentistry. He also holds the record for the tenure of 21 years as dean and principal of a single institution. Professor Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty is the recipient of the prestigious B.C. Roy National Award in 1996, presented by the Honorable President of India. He also received the Eminent Teacher Award in the field of health sciences by the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. He also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Indian Prosthodontic Society and many more. Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty is a doyen in this industry, in the dentistry and the dental care. Welcome, doctor, to this show. As you all know that because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, the entire world is suffering, and India is one of them. Now, because we are having more than 50 days of the lockdown, everything is locked down, and now the government of India is opening slowly and slowly the things which are not going to be more infectious, and where they feel that there will be no fear about the coronavirus. But what about the dental? Because we are, for the social distancing, the mask is one of the must thing to wear. And in dentistry and the dental service, the main thing is that you are entering inside the mouth. We are talking about the droplets. The few droplets can give the infection, and you are opening the entire mouth with full of saliva with all the droplets and whatnot. So my first question to you, doctor, how this coronavirus is affecting and what is the situation? Because after all, the dental is such a thing which earlier, yes, only the aged people wants to go for the dentist, but now even the young generation, everybody requires dental treatment. So what you think, with your experience, what is the situation, whether you have seen such type of situation earlier in any other form, or this is the first time you are seeing, and what is the remedy, and how you think we can overcome, especially for the dental sciences? Dr. Shetty, please.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much for your kind introduction. Now, because you must have got my old biodata, I'm finishing more than 50 years of teaching experience.
Oh, doctor, I'm really sorry. I must congratulate you.
Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Now the most is a critical time for all of us to take care of our patients and give them a quality life. Now, the present situation, of course, it is a rather big community spreading diseases for which we still don't have methods to stop it. We still don't have methods to cure it, or we still don't have a vaccine. It is something like that. Before we heard in the medical science about the plague, smallpox, and so many things. But today, the diseases are there for everybody. we have to take care of their pain. They have to take care of their discomfort. We have to give them comfort. We have to give a quality life for the patients. So we cannot be afraid of what is happening. Probably if we can take care of ourselves first, our assistants first, and our family first, and then be fit, and then start treating the patients in a directed, as stipulated by already the state dental councils are stipulating what you should do in the clinic, what you should have to prevent the cross infections, and how to dispose the used things, including your PPT and other things. All these things are very important for us to be more careful than what we were doing it before. So in the dentistry, the main program in all clinical sciences, what we talk about is cross-infection control implements, cross-infection control methods, and waste management. This is a criteria for all dental clinics, is a must all over the world. And in India, in all our curriculum, we have introduced this, and it's a must for all dental surgeons to protect from themselves. Now, since we are very closely with the patient, we were afraid of hepatitis, we are afraid of tuberculosis, we are afraid of so many other cross infections which can take place from between to us to this one. See, unfortunately, what happens is our public is not very well aware, because there are mostly people who are coming from the dental treatment. Mostly 90% of them, they are healthy patients. They are not aware that what they have to take care of themselves before coming. You see that a lot of people, you see them spitting here, were coming with the dirty shoes inside, and then a lot of things. So at present circumstances, first what I say is that all dental surgeons who are practicing or in the dental schools, everybody should refresh their knowledge on cross-infection control. Next, they should also have a proper education on preparing their clinic for the purpose of the critical areas, non-critical areas, and dressing areas, all those things, sterilization areas, patients waiting areas, all these areas which they have to be taking care from, to having a patients coming there with the possible asymptomatic patient who are coming with a COVID or something. So now there is a new addition we have to do. Usually all patients will take their systemic conditions and all those things for the purpose of our treatment. But today we have to introduce a new thing. What is that? Is every patient should undergo the temperature, body temperature test. We should make a separate, take a history just to reference to the corona, apart from taking a history for other diseases. So this is a must. So we must screen the patients before we treat patients. Let's say that a COVID patient himself is having an emergency. What should be our duty? First, our duty is, should we jump into doing a treatment for him, or we inform the authorities which are taking care of the spread of the COVID infections and tell them this person needs such a type of a emergency treatment. What shall we do? We must take care of that first. With these things, then we have to coordinate with them. Then we have to take care of the proper, today we have to use a lot of disinfectants or equipments, instruments, and all those things. But while doing this treatment, in a dentistry, what has happened is we have a lot of advances in instrumentations, especially because of surgical procedures on tooth, on tissues. We use a high-speed, revolutionary instruments, rotatory instruments, so that saliva is there in the mouth. It can create an erosive. But we are aware of this before only. We were making use of caps, the masks, eyes, eye protection, ear protection, face protection, and wearing the protective gown. Also, we were doing it the dental clinic already. All these people are taught how to use it. But you know that there are some negligent dental surgeons are also there. They don't bother about it. They think, using a disposable syringe is not good because it will cost money. I have to charge more for the patient. The patient cannot afford it. These are all the certain sadist thinking of some of the dental surgeons. So they should forget about all those things. So what my suggestion is, first, all of these people should go a refresher course conducted by the State Dental Council, and they should have an inspection of their clinics and their assistants, the methodology of their receiving the patients, treating the patients, disposing the infected things, all these things should be having an inspection. Then only the dental surgeon should be allowed to start practice in their clinic. Just because we are not having a patient, which a patient has come, don't grab the patient. By grabbing the patient, you are grabbing a death. This is my opinion.
Oh, okay. Very nicely you have explained, doctor, about what SOP one doctor has to adopt, especially when this COVID is there, and at least they must get all the things in a proper way. They must get themselves inspected by the authority. But do you think that these types of authorities nowadays are free to inspect? Because everybody is busy in the coronavirus, which I will ask you in the next section of my questions. Now I will move to the young doctor, Dr. Shruti Shanbhag. She is MDS prosthodontics with special attention to implantology and cosmetic dentistry. She is member of Indian Dental Association, also the member of Indian Prosthodontics Society and Indian Association of Aesthetics and Cosmetic Dentistry. She is a university rank holder in BDS as well as MGS. She was awarded the best scientific paper at IAACD in 2018. She was also awarded Best New Practice Award at FEMDent in 2019. She was the chairperson of the scientific session at the 44th Indian Prosthodontic Society Conference. She is nominated for Dental Specialist of the Year, Prosthodontist IDD 2020, and she is also the founder president of BNI West Mumbai. Welcome, Dr. Shruti Shanbhag. I know there is a very contrast. One is a very, very senior and you are very young. But today, when we have more than 67% population of young people, definitely we want to hear the voice of the young doctor also. What Dr. Sridhar Shetty has explained, that today all the doctors has to see that they should not jump by seeing the patient. If there is a patient, they open the clinic and do all the things unless they will not protect themselves, because this is one of the medical science which you are very, very close to the mouth of a patient. Now you are practicing in Mumbai. Now what SOP you are doing, whether it's complete lockdown or you are seeing the patients, or it is only because many times it happens that there is a pain in the teeth and the patient gives you a call. Teleconsultations are on right now, but whether the pain can go by that or sometimes it requires the treatment by the doctor. So how you are managing that, if you can explain to our viewers. Dr. Shruti Shanbhag, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goyal. Thank you. It is a huge honor for me to be sharing a platform with Dr. Shetty. He is an inspiration to all of us in the field of dentistry. So thank you for having me here with you, with the rest of you. As Dr. Shetty rightly said, there are a lot of protocols which have to be put in place for us to come back to dentistry. The Dental Council of India, the different state councils, IDA have given us a lot of protocols, the SOPs which we have to put into place. But as also Dr. Shetty said, aerosols are a big risk for us. And while dentistry has, we've been aware of a number of other diseases right from day one. So we've always worn masks, we have always worn headgear and, protected our eyes. Unfortunately, we've been in a situation now where maybe that is not enough. So yes, there is a lot of pre-screening that we have to do for our patients, where we have to check, if they are having symptoms of temperature, breathing issues, if they are even come in contact, because we have so many asymptomatic cases today where they test positive, but they may not show symptoms. So it is a big risk, particularly in Mumbai, where we all know the number of cases is very high. We never know who is a carrier, and even when they don't show symptoms. So a good ground rule that has been, explained to us is to expect that every patient is positive unless proven otherwise. So that is the kind of care that we have to take, and that is the kind of precautions that we have to take before we touch any patient. So yes, under these circumstances, we are avoiding treating patients where an aerosol generation procedure is recommended. Yes, the first protocol for treatment is to try with medication, to try home remedies, anything which may relieve the patient's pain, at least temporarily. And in these circumstances, if there is no way where the patient is in pain despite medication, despite any other follow-up, steady consultations, video consultations, then we have no option, because it is also in the end our duty to treat our patients. We cannot leave them hanging in their time of need. So in these circumstances, we do open up our clinics, but we take the utmost precaution. We use PPEs, we use double protection with masks, eyewear, head caps, and of course, we ask the patient to mouth rinse before we touch any procedures. As far as possible, we are using hand instruments without using drills, which obviously make our jobs easier, but may not be recommended in this situation, where we address the patient's issues without allowing them to without exposing either us or risking their lives by drilling or, exposing them to aerosol. So there are protocols, like I said, the Indian Dental Association, the Dental Council of India has advised us, and we are following them strictly, but we are not turning away patients unless, if in their dire needs of emergency. So if there's no way that we are able to treat them with medication or with home remedies, then we see them, we advise them, but only in the worst case scenarios. And even then we take a lot of precautions. We ask them to use mouth rinses before we start, right before we even look into their mouths. We do a mouth rinse, we check their temperature when they enter the clinic, we take a thorough case history. These are the things that we can do in a private practice, until that is we cannot avoid, but we can at least be careful, be cautious, and give it our best shot.
I see. So you are taking full care whatsoever is required, but
yes,
only you are taking the emergency cases, because definitely there are many times, after all, if it is not, then why we require doctors? There are emergencies, and it's a duty of the doctor to attend the emergency. But like what Dr. Shetty has earlier mentioned, until we will not save ourselves, then how we can treat the patient?
Absolutely.
Now, yes. Dr. Shetty, before I will ask you the further question, there is a question comes from Dr. Santosh Patnaik from Bhubaneswar. His question is, despite 2 courses of antibiotics, on the advice of a dentist, the toothache in one of my RCT teeth is yet to be relieved. When can I consult dentist for full-fledged checkup and surgical intervention for corrective treatment, if any?
Question to me?
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor.
Is it Dr. Shetty?
Yeah, Dr. Shetty. Dr. Shetty.
This treatment, you see, we have already categorized in the Dental Council of India about treatment of 3 level, first level, second level, and 3 levels. In 3 levels, if there is definitely a patient is having an emergency pain and swellings, and the swelling is getting into the space, then he can be treated at the level 3 clinic, where they have to have a complete, the PPT, everything, even the assistants, and all those should be, he can be treated there by, using even the But only thing is they have to put off the AC. There are 3 types of a clinic suggested by the experts that what type of a treatment can be done in the 3 levels. So if this person is having a emergency of pain, intolerable pain or discomfort for his, eating food and other things, he can, this one is to control infection and then for this. Now, now we are only talking about the emergencies only.
Yes.
Emergency treatment, but dental profession is not going to end by treating only emergencies, because we have so many type of patients who are coming. That's why there are suggested by the experts that you should have 3 types of clinics, 3-level clinics. 1-level clinic where you do examinations and do some emergency treatment. The second is you do a treatment by using hand instruments only without an aerosols. The 3rd level is in a higher. Everywhere you have to have all PPT, everything, even for your assistants, even for your technicians, even for your clinic, everybody. So utmost care has to be taken to see that the whole dental clinic is completely, you have to put disinfectants and all those, there are so many disposable tubes and other things are there. All those things are to be used and then only he can be treated there. Now the question is, while doing this, there are going to be an extra cost for the dental surgeon. Now the patient has to bear this cost, or the doctor has to sacrifice his income. This is the only solution for these things. So that doctor can go to a clinic where there is a 3rd-level treatment, clinic arrangement has been made. Does it satisfy him?
Yeah, I am sure that Dr. Santosh Kumar Patnaik is listening and watching our program. So he might have got in detail the answer and might be satisfied. Only my question to you again is, you mentioned about the extra cost. Now, in the present scenario, when everything is closed, lockdown period, people are not earning anything. And in that case also, if they have to pay more, why not you recommend to the Dental Council of India, through them, to the government of India, that at least the insurance companies or the government should subsidize, give this thing, because until unless it is not cost effective, how the person will go in this present scenario to a dental doctor, although there is an emergency, but after all the money is a factor. What you say about this, doctor?
No, but I feel that our approach for doing a treatment, we should not sacrifice because there is a costly and other things, because we have to be very responsible not to spread the infection. So at whatever is our loss, I think we must sacrifice that amount of our for this community. For the sake of community. Now, asking for subsidy and other things, I think the dental surgeons are professionals. I think by ethics and moral, we have to sacrifice our life for the life of other people, for the health of the other people. Let us sacrifice for some time till then, when we can't afford, then only you ask from the government. You see, we are not laborers who are going and asking for food and subsidy, this, that and all. No, but a dentist, instead of having a 100 rupees his income after spending all those things, he can sacrifice 50% of that and still live with the 50%. Okay. This is my opinion.
Yes. Because doctor, you have given a very good opinion, and especially when you say that doctors are not the laborers, and today we see that how the misery these migrants are facing. But what you said is absolutely right. The doctors should try to sacrifice till the time they can afford. Now, before there is a question for you, Dr. Shruti, this question has come from Aligarh, that the children whose mouths are smelling, is there any remedy for that?
So the thing is, at this circumstances, it is, there are two problems. One is that right now going to a dentist for something for a child to risk an environment of the dental clinic when there is no pain, there is no swelling, there is no bleeding. It's not a good option right now. Right. But at the same time, the child is having a mouth smelling issue or something. It is the responsibility of the parents to maintain the oral hygiene of the child to the best possible under these circumstances. At this point, the best thing that an individual can do outside of a clinic, outside of the medical facilities, is maintain their own health. That is going to not just from a dental perspective, just from the situation of corona also, the best way to fight this virus is to be healthy, physically, mentally, everything. So as part of this, dental oral hygiene is also very important. So if it is a small child who is having, a bad breath or a mouth issue, then it is the parent's responsibility, particularly if the child is below 6 years of age, to help with the child with A, proper brushing technique, and B, teaching the child, helping the child brush and teaching the child to brush. And you have options of mouthwashes at home, home remedies, things like that, which can be done to improve the oral hygiene for a routine, not just for the current situation, but for the long term. Because in the end, the whole life, the child has to have his teeth, the healthy teeth for the life.
Dr. Shruti, the other day I was discussing with Dr. Deven. He is a professor of surgery, head and neck in AJ Medical College, Mangalore. And he mentioned that to boost up the immunity, the dark chocolate is also good. And as for the children to eat dark chocolate, I think in one way it is good for that to increase the immunity, but I think it is bad for your teeth. So what you say about that?
So honestly, dark chocolate is still better than milk chocolate, because milk chocolate has still a higher content of sugar. But that does not mean that it is good for your teeth. In the end, sugar is sugar, right? So the best recommendation you can do is have your dark chocolate, but make sure you are brushing properly at night, and don't snack on chocolate through the day. Have it only at specific times in the day, and make sure that you clean your mouth after that so that the sugar doesn't stay on your teeth. So while I don't want to recommend or not recommend dark chocolate, the experts have already recommended it. All I can say is just keep your teeth clean after eating it, wash your mouth, brush at night, and you will not have any dental issues arising because of that piece of dark chocolate, which is improving your immunity.
Okay. Dr. Shetty, there was a report in USA that if you use the mouthwash, then the mouthwash can prevent coronavirus. What is your opinion about that?
No, just like this, now we are using a disinfectants, and the mouthwash, which is we are having it is chlorhexidine and all other mouthwashes. It can prevent it can prevent, but can it stop corona getting and lodging at the throat and making an havoc laterwards is the question. Now we are using our all disinfectants for cleaning our hand and all those things. Yeah, it is better. Along with that cleaning, you can do a mouth gargling. You can, even if you can do like yoga, passing a salt water through your nose and clearing the throat. You can frequently drink a hot water to warm up your body. So these are all the certain remedies mentioned to thinking that the coronavirus will not lodge in the throat and then go to the lungs. Now, we are not very sure. This is only just a try. Just like, that washing for 20 seconds, will it prevent coronavirus from hand? Still, we don't know. You understand? So we are still uneducated about this, because we are taking different advices. It has helped somebody. It has not helped probably a few people. Now, mouthwash is a must for just answering for the questions which somebody asked about the child is having a bad breath. See, the bad breath is every child has to be trained by the parents or the father or mother that after eating the food, they should gargle it nicely, and then they can take a toothbrush and put on the tongue and clean the food particles on the tongue. And then they must brush their teeth at least twice, once in the morning and later on in the night before going to the bed. After that, they should drink only water, nothing should be taken inside the mouth. Apart from that, there is a possibility the patient may be having a tonsillitis. The child may be having a tonsillitis, or child may be having some decay, food particles are in the decay in the tooth. So all these things can be checked up. But this is probably is not the time for this. So the parents can take care of this measure of having simple oral hygiene. See, oral hygiene is like the personal hygiene. It is something like you wash your face, you wash your ass, you wash your body. Oral hygiene is something like that only. Every day, everybody must do this. It's a personal hygiene. It's not separate.
Sure.
This has to be trained to the children. I think he can try that. And then if there is a still problem, then he can take an appointment with some dental surgeon to check whether there are any teeth or any other mucous membrane lesions are there in the mouth. That's all. I suggest that they should have a tonsillitis checked.
Okay. I am sure that the question which was asked from Aligarh, 2 doctors have given the reply, so they might be very much satisfied. Now, there is a question for you, Dr. Shruti. This question is from Mumbai, from your place only. I am Santosh here. Okay, Mr. Santosh is asking the question. Since we have to live with the virus for years, how long will dental clinics remain closed for routine works?
So that's a very good question, and honestly, it's a difficult answer. The problem currently is that the viral load is a lot in the air, which means the number of people getting affected is a lot. So that is the first problem. Second problem is there is no vaccine, there is no cure. So under these circumstances, for the time being, all we can say is, we can only deal with emergencies. And we all hope that, the number of cases, we keep reading about flattening the curve. So once we start flattening the curve, once the number of cases starts reducing, the viral load, the number of cases starts coming under control, either with the help of a vaccine or because of, herd immunity, number of different, that is the epidemiologist who will tell us about what are the various ways that, we can kind of control the disease. The problem is right now, we are not able to control the disease. Once we get it under control, as dentists, we are taking a lot of measures. We are equipping ourselves with PPE, with air purifiers, there's a lot of things, fogging our clinics, checking our temperatures, keeping our staff, educating our staff, our assistants to stay as, healthy as possible, and making sure that we are seeing patients also who are educated and understood that the situation is not going to be easy. But if you ask me when can we say it, it's a little difficult for us to answer, but we are preparing ourselves that slowly and steadily we can start seeing patients more routinely. But it will definitely help once the viral load, once the situation becomes a little bit easier, when there are less number of cases in the air, once the curve starts flattening, we will be in a better situation to start dealing with patients more regularly.
Okay. Now, same question if I will put to Dr. Shetty, because you have an experience that you are teaching, still you are teaching, and you are training the doctors, the future doctors. So what you feel about seeing this coronavirus, what you say when we will be able to get the routine work done and the clinics will start functioning?
Yeah, now we already heard starting from our Prime Minister Modi to everybody, scientists, various people in the world, they say that the corona is going to be a part of our life in the society. The dental surgeons has to start their profession. This is the time for us. So what I suggest, as I suggested in the beginning, every dental clinic or dental schools should be reorganized to take care of this spread of coronavirus, to take care of every patient, to see that they are not symptomatic or asymptomatic corona patients. and treat them, as I suggested, there will be 3 types of a clinic where you can start doing a treatment in 3 levels. This is the only way where we can start our profession. First, have a good refresh course for all dental surgeons, dental students about the cross-infection control under the situations of coronavirus. Next, our responsibility towards the patient in identifying the corona, the asymptomatic or symptomatic patients, to take them, isolate them and treat them. For example, we had a few years back, we had a great hue and cry about the patient with the AIDS. We started, lot of things have suggested for us, and we started a treatment for even AIDS patients also. So I think we are all educated how to take care of the infection. But only thing is, we have to refresh. We have to change our habits of chalta hai. Chalta hai habit should be removed. So we should be meticulously, religiously practice cross-infection control and taking care of our assistants, patients, everybody in respect to the coronavirus. Because as our young doctor has said, we don't have a vaccine, we don't know medicine, we don't have. So I don't know whether I'm quarantined inside the house as an aged person, but still I'm meeting a lot of people. I don't know still. This is a situation for us in our country. But we professionals should now plan, and the authorized bodies should train, should inspect their clinic, they should modify their clinics to meet the situation and treat patients. Nobody should take a risk. There is no question of taking any risk with any patients, including myself. If I come to somebody's clinic, they should not take a risk because, Sridhar Shetty knows everything, so nothing is happened to him. No, Sridhar Shetty can be an atom bomb, right? So this is my suggestion, but we should not stop our profession. But our profession, we have to start first, make a step to refresh the knowledge for people with reference to the coronavirus, refresh how the clinic has to be made, refresh what type of a treatment you can do it in a different levels of clinic. And this is the only way where we can start back our profession. This is my suggestion.
Okay, very nice, doctor. There is a question for you, Dr. Shruti. It's from Mumbai again. It shows that you are quite popular in Mumbai. Is there government restriction on treating dental patients? Now, I am also heading in this question. You being the young doctor and might be quite internet savvy, what is the conditions in other countries? Whether there are also the same restrictions what we have? Is there any restrictions, government restriction for treating dental patients in India as well as in other countries? What is your view about that?
So as far as the Dental Council of India, which is the government organization for dentists all over India, they have for the time being suggested that we treat emergencies if required, but without any aerosol procedures. That is the last notification which was given in May by the Dental Council of India. There have been individual state dental councils which have modified the rules because, again, we have to realize that the situation is different from state to state. In Mumbai, most dentists are following the Dental Council of India, where they are not opening their clinics unless it is an absolute emergency. But under those circumstances, when there are emergencies, dental hospitals in Mumbai are working and they are seeing patients. So often, if the private dentist cannot see them, they refer them to dental hospitals, the government hospitals, which are equipped to treat patients. That is the first part of your question, Mr. Well. Second part is, as across over the world, again, the situation depends from country to country. There are countries where they have seen the cases are reducing or the cases have stabilized. So those practices are opening up slowly. And as Dr. Shetty said, They are following a lot of strict protocols. They are, following things according to their governments, according to what the American Dental Association, the Federation of Dental International, which is a European body, they have all set down their set of rules, which they feel are, again, nothing is preventive. This is just as much precautions as possible. So under these very strict precautions, a lot of few countries in Europe, few countries in Japan, they are opening up slowly. Vietnam, where they feel like they have flattened the curve, they are encouraging doctors to open up, but in what they consider the new normal. So dentistry has definitely changed. There's a new normal now where we have to take a lot more precautions, but they are returning to routine dentistry, and we also hope that soon enough we can also return to routine dentistry, following those strict protocols which have been laid down not just by Indian government but also by international bodies, where we take every precaution, step-by-step precautions, both for the patient and for the doctor and their staff.
Okay, very nicely you have mentioned, and given the current situation, what the Dental Council of India as well as the Government of India and other countries are following. Now, Dr. Shetty, in the last, I would like you to give what message you would like to give to the public at large, as well as if you have any suggestions to the Government of India so that they can see if it can be followed, because after all your voice has to be heard even in the Government of India level. So what message you want to give to the public as well as to the Government of India? Dr. Shetty, please.
Now, I'm not an expert in community medicine or community dentistry, but is my experience goes outside our country. What I say, the first, every citizen should educate themselves. What is the risk if we break the rules on preventing corona? For example, wearing a mask. It should be a part of our life. Wearing a mask till we find a vaccination, till we find a medicine for this. Every child to the oldest, they should wear mask all throughout. They must keep the distance, what has been suggested by our honorable government. Then they should also take care to see that if somebody else is not doing it, point out and tell them that I will inform the police. You are not wearing a mask. You are spitting here. You are urinating here. These are all the certain habits our people, they just take it for granted because there is no police, I can do anything. Now, whatever the regulations they have put for controlling these communicable diseases, I think every citizen should follow it. We say that they are not gone to the school, they don't know, they are poor. I don't think there is enough information for all these people, but it is only their negligence. Because, for example, the other day I went to a shop by wearing a mask. I saw one gentleman, a young boy, probably a driver or a conductor, I do not know. He came inside without a mask. I asked him, why are you not wearing a mask? And then he said, no, I am just buying one small thing and going. And I told him, you have to wear a mask. Well, people are dying here. Why are you not wearing a mask? You may die also. No. Then his answer is in our language is, sai or saili. People who want to die, let them die. I'm not bothered. See, this is a type of a carelessness, for their convenience. Just like, we jumping into the market to buy one kg of a fish without keeping the distance. All these things are our attitude. So all people should educate the next person. What is the importance of wearing a mask? What is the importance of keeping a distance? How to help the community to prevent this pandemic. This is must for whether I am a dental surgeon, whether I am in other profession, whether I am a normal citizen, whoever it is, you should educate. And I think we should make soldiers from the young boys and girls from the schools. to attack this type of a people who are not wearing a mask. This is my suggestion. They should tell their parents, they should tell their grandparents, say that, come on, wear a mask. This is the way I think probably our younger generation can take up this war. Probably we will do it. Now, another thing is we have to get into our profession. We have to get into our job, whatever the job it is. We have to see how to prevent this communicable disease and take care. So it is something like touch me not for everybody. Touch me not. That's Mimosa pudica leaf. It says touch me not. Same way, it will shed its leaves, no? Same way, touch me not. So this should be the message for everybody. And as a professionals, we must take care because we have to treat them. Whether they are having a COVID or whether they are not having a COVID, we have to treat them and give them a quality life. So this is the best advice we can give it to everybody in this. So the most important thing is wear the mask, keep distance, don't throw things which you have used in open places, put it in a dustbin carefully. This is a must. Don't, because I have to go urgently, don't get into the bus or a tram or a train where there is already crowded. Don't go into that. You may just go to your place, but afterwards one may die. You don't know. So this should be the attitude. Touch me not, keep distance. This is my message for everybody.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Touch me not, and you said the responsibility lies with the younger generation. And today we have a young doctor also here who represent the younger generation. So I will also like to ask her views, her message to the public at large, and especially to the younger generation, what you say, and if you have any suggestions for the government also. Dr. Shruti, please.
So I want to just reiterate what Dr. Shetty said. He said, this is the new normal. Again, I'm just using that word new normal because this is going to be our lives now. So we have to take these precautions, not just as dentists or doctors, but every individual has to take certain precautions. Wearing a mask, keeping social distancing, staying healthy. I think the biggest takeaway in all of this is we have to focus on our own health, whether it is eating right, whether it is physically fit, maintaining meditation, whatever it takes to keep you in the best physical and mental health, which is going to help you fight this disease if you end up getting affected. And the other thing, as you said, specifically for younger generation, I feel like a lot of the younger generation is being a little, they're being a little over enthusiastic because they feel that at a younger age, you're not getting affected by the corona. But the fact is, corona doesn't find an age. Maybe you are asymptomatic, but you will still carry the disease and transfer it to much younger children or much older, family members, people that you are seeing. And that is a risk that you cannot afford to take. So for the sake, if you're not caring about yourself, at least care about your family, your elderly parents, grandparents, your younger children, your, cousins who are at risk of getting affected much more severely than you. So don't let age become foolhardy thinking that you are not going to get affected by it. Take all the precautions of hand hygiene, body hygiene, wearing a mask, social distancing, and understand that it's not just for you, but it is for your community that you are doing all these things. And at the same time, we as doctors and dentists are taking our best precautions to keep you healthy and keeping ourselves healthy so we cannot transmit anything to you. So under these, everyone is just doing their best, and we hope that the entire community at large does their best to prevent the spread and get it under control.
Very nice, doctor. You have mentioned very nicely. So you have seen today, there are two doctors, one a senior most doctor, one a young promising doctor. And the message is very, very clear to the public at large that please do whatsoever you want to do, but you have to maintain what government of India is saying. Listen to them, hand hygiene, keeping social distancing, etc., etc. Although the doctors wants to help you, but they have to see whether there is an emergency or not. Only in the case of emergency, they are ready to do it, but with full precautions. Because if the doctor will become sick, then who is going to treat us? So I'm very thankful, and I'm especially thankful to both of you because you have given the clear picture. There was a very much doubt from the public at large. They feel that because we are suffering, the doctors are sitting at home, they are not ready to help us. They are just talking on phone or on the video chat. But this is a very good message. They should understand, everyone should understand, if really there is a real emergency, then only disturb the doctor. Otherwise, you can talk to them, take the home medicines, etc. And what Dr. Shetty has mentioned, that we all have to be very, very careful. Listen to the seniors, listen to the government, and it's whether you are young or aged, you all have to be very, very careful. Today, I'm very much thankful to you, and I am also thankful to all the media partners, especially to the News Karnataka, V4 News, Malnadu TV, Global TV, those who are, and as well as on Facebook and YouTube, where it was shown live. And the program was brought to you by the Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Thank you very much for joining this special program. Thank you, Dr. Shetty, and thank you, Dr. Shruti.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Shetty. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank
So
you.
it's a nice conversation with you and educating even for me also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.